So what is the correct opinion among all these opinions, with all due respect to those brothers and those scholars who hold these opinions? None of them is correct. So what is the correct opinion? The correct opinion is الصوم يوم تصومون, the hadith of الترمذي, hadith Abi Hurairah in الترمذي, which all scholars agreed upon. الصوم يوم تصومون والفطر يوم تفطرون. If your country, for example, if in Germany or imagine in Holland, they decided, Muslims there decided to go for Morocco because maybe a big community, a big Muslim community is from Morocco. They decided to go for Morocco, and most Muslims accepted that, go for that. And that for you is the Shar'i month. Allah Jalla wa Ala will not take you to account if you go with them, but Allah Jalla wa Ala will hold you accountable if you go against that. If they decide to go for their own moon sighting, and most of the people accepted that, go for that. If they decided to follow Mecca, go for that. If they decided to follow Pakistan, go for that. الصوم يوم تصومون والفطر يوم تفطرون. As At-Tirmidhi said, the people of knowledge decided that the person should fast with the majority of Muslims. So this is the case when we said there is no Khilafah to decide something, and there is no Amir al-Mu'mineen to decide something. You go into country, see what are the majority of Muslims doing, what is the majority of Muslims doing, do it and go for it. This is the decision, as simple as that. Why? Because of the hadith that we mentioned. Not because of unity only. No. The only unity here is not the criteria. The criteria is as-sawmu yawma tasumun. And it is not, as we said, the fuqaha, the scholars never said, if you believe in contrary to what the jama'ah believe, then go for your opinion. None of them said that. So we will see, we will find a mosque here fasting on this day, the mosque there fasting on the other day. And as it happened here 2 years ago in Manchester, in one family, they contacted me. Some people are celebrating Eid on one day, and the father and mother, they were fasting. And no, this is impossible. None of the scholars agreed on this. None of the scholars said that. So this is my advice. And this is not just my own ijtihad. None of the scholars can go against this ijtihad, against this opinion. And I have discussed it with so many people. And I told them, before we go into conjunction and all of these things, just let me clarify one thing. Is it allowed for Muslims, for example in London, to split into two parts, one fasting on this day and the other fasting on the other day? Just tell me this. And that's why I advise all the brothers, before getting into this discussion, ask those who talk about it, Sheikh, is it allowed that we divide into two opinions? One, Muslims establish Eid on this day, and the other Muslims in the same city to establish Eid on the other day. If he says yes, then he doesn't know anything in Islam. As blatant as that. If he said yes, follow your local masjid, okay, and the other one to follow his local masjid, where we will end up with some of the Muslims establishing Eid on this day, and the other Muslims are establishing Eid on the other day, and this is legitimate. If someone says this, then he is going against Sharia and he doesn't know anything in Sharia. So what to do? Go with the majority of Muslims. This is the conclusion. Now, and that's why, brothers, as I told you, before we write books, now there are books, we have seen books, wallahi, big books written about Saudi Arabia, about conjunction, about the visibility, about there might be mistakes, etc., etc. No need for that. and people are confused, and look, wallahi, there are valuable information here, etc., etc. No need for that at all. طيب, the question here, the question that many people will forward is, if we go to a country and we don't know what is the majority, then, brothers, if you don't know the majority, try to figure out the majority. Try your best. If you came to a conclusion that most of the Muslims are doing this, then go for that. As simple as that. If you are confused, then you are confused. Then join the locality around you if you are confused. But in many cases, we are not confused. Now, many people here, they will say, but what is the fatwa? What is the fatwa, for example, in the UK? And what do we do in the UK? We, as I said, we do fast when most of the Muslims fast. And that's why, brothers, it is not now who is the real mufti, who is the real influencer here. The real influencer here is not me, not any mufti, it is the media. Now most of the people, what do? They open the TV and they see that Mecca is fasting tomorrow. Then, and they are praying Taraweeh today. They spiritually attached to that and they will follow that. On the other hand, Eid time, they will see that Mecca stopped praying Taraweeh, so they will just follow that. And if you remember, in one of 3 years ago, in one of the masajid, I don't want to mention the name of the masjid, they said, no, tomorrow is Ramadan and we want to pray Taraweeh, while most of the masajid around them announced Eid. And people knew that in Mecca it is Eid and people making takbir, Allahu Akbar, and there is no more Taraweeh. The Imam started Taraweeh prayer and just 3 people joined him, or 3-4 people joined him. And there were discussion, no, we want to pray Taraweeh, etc. What did the committee of the masjid do? And we witnessed that and we know that. They entered and they have a meeting there and then they said, yes, tomorrow is Eid, khalas. Is that joke? This is not a joke. So why to start it like this? Khalas, if most Muslims accepted that, just accept it, alhamdulillah.